Hey YouTube and wrestling fans, this is Old School Ted 1 with this week's preview slash overview for Bryan Danielson and what's been going on. I hope you all saw Raw last night. If not, look on YouTube, find a way to see it again. It was a really good Raw. I think it was one of the better Raws in a while, mainly because of the beginning when you had Edge fighting it out with Matt Sydal, now known as Evan Bourne, and the main event at the end, the Daniel Bryan stuff in the middle, the Santino Marella, Vladimir Kozlov stuff in there as well. There's kind of something for everyone in the show, I would argue. Good interview segments. I liked it. I thought it was a good Raw. Most importantly, at the beginning, you had Ashton Kutcher chatting it up with the Diva, and Miz came in, and he and sort of Miz had it out, and he said Miz gets to take on a wrestler given a one-day contract. Lo and behold, it's Daniel Bryan. They go back and forth. Miz says he's going to beat him to a pulp. Ashton Kutcher says that he'll make Miz tap out. It was a good exchange. And immediately I sat up a little bit straighter, and I fast forward and watched most of the stuff, but just to get to that segment. Now, first off, the segment from beginning to end was maybe 7.5 minutes, maybe. I could be wrong, but the match was only between 2 and 3 minutes. I think 2:21 was what someone told me. And you had, they showed the build-up. They showed the slap. They had Jerry the King Lawler poking at Michael Cole, who was screaming and going off, doing a really good job sort of playing a heel announcer. He called Daniel Bryan a loser, a nerd. He said he didn't have heart, just nailing everything that he's been harping on him for and doing a good job of it. Out comes Miz. Out comes Daniel Bryan, still using the NXT theme. Please remove that and get something else for him. Sooner the better. New tights. Okay, I kind of like the simpleness of the maroon ones. He's also bearded, looked angrier, which is good. The way the match began had both of them in the ring, both of them looking really intense. Cole screaming about or harping about how Daniel Bryan's going to get the crap kicked out of him. Paraphrasing, but that's essentially what he was saying. And so you had this real tense beginning. Daniel Bryan landed a couple leg kicks and then floored Miz. They grappled on the ground for a moment, and you ended up with Miz in a cross arm breaker. Miz got the advantage. Using just his size, got a couple shots in, ended up landing a double axe handle. Nothing really too fluid. This kind of reminded me of an ROH match, just in the stiffness of it, my opinion. And then you had him sort of almost in Daniel Bryan's guard, slapping him a few times. And when he went to sort of pick him up, Bryan trapped the arm. I don't know if he was picking up or going to slap him again. Trapped the arm with his leg, and if you saw the submission he put on Batista, which almost made Batista tap, it's that submission. It's scissoring the arm, putting it between the legs, and then crippler crossface like, grabbing the head and pulling it over. It still legit looks painful. Miz looked in a great deal of pain, but he sort of turned into a cradle pin on Daniel Bryan. Bryan reversed that into a crucifix. The ref kind of stuttered. I blame it more on the ref than either one of the wrestlers. But Bryan wins. Bryan gets a 3 count. That got my attention. I was quite happy with that. Cole was stunned. Bryan stood up, celebrated the crowd. Miz sucker punched him, threw him outside, and I got worried. Are they going to leave him laying? Are they not going to give him, I'll even allow him to celebrate his moment? Are they going to save that for tonight on NXT? So he drags Bryan to his feet. Miz picks up Bryan and yells at him, says he's going to really apologize now to Michael Cole, and just sort of lays him on the announce table and pulls him up. Well, as he pulls him up, Daniel Bryan kicks him in the stomach, slams his head off the announcer's table, and then kind of lawn darts him into Michael Cole, which definitely had me popping. I thought that was great. I was cheering, enjoyed that. Good, simple markout moment. Daniel Bryan got in the ring, wasn't uber triumphal, but definitely landed a shot across the bow. Ended with him staring down at Miz, Cole on his butt, on his keister, to quote the King. But you had Daniel Bryan very intensely staring at Miz, which leads up to tonight. What does all this mean for tonight in NXT? Well, the only thing that would be bad, I think, would be any situation that leaves Daniel Bryan laying flat out, completely punked out in the middle of the ring. This is the last NXT. They need to kind of get him over somehow. Again, and I know some people will say that he doesn't really need to get over, but at this point, they need to get some sort of lead up so they can offer him a contract. Be that another victory over Miz. And there's a lot of ways to do it. They could do an 8-man tag match between the pros of the eliminated superstars who haven't been released. So that would give you Christian, that would give you Regal, that would give you CM Punk, all who are awesome. And that would also give you Miz. So you have those 4 guys. On the other side, you'd have Heath Sheffield, Darren Young, Slater, and, of course, Daniel Bryan. I'm leaving Michael Tarver out because without Carlito, it doesn't quite work as well. But you have that. You could have them both on the same side. So if Miz gets beaten or taps out, Miz could scream that it wasn't him, it was his team, or there's a lot of options there. And having that sort of rookie go over, and plus it wouldn't take away from the final votes and final matches of the remaining 3 guys on NXT. Or you could have him called out and you could just have a brawl. Anything that sort of moves things along to where we're getting a contract or we can see some sort of light at the end of the tunnel for Daniel Bryan. I could see next week on Raw, the cast of the A-Team is going to be the guest host saying, hey, we're going to give this guy another shot. I mean, there's a lot of options that may culminate at this upcoming Fatal 4-Way pay-per-view. I think that'd be the best place to culminate it. There's just a lot of options right now for them to play with. Like I said, the only situation that would be bad, in my opinion, would be leaving Daniel Bryan just laying flat out in the middle of the ring. That would be both disappointing and not really do anything for anybody. Miz is already established. I think this feud will get Miz further over. He looked like he enjoyed the stiff stuff with Daniel Bryan last night. I think their matches would just get better, especially give him more time than 2 minutes. Miz, I can't believe I'm saying this, but it reminded me a bit of Greg the Hammer Valentine. He's one of the guys that the longer his matches go, the better he gets in the ring. He has that ability. It's the old Greg the Hammer Valentine. Gorilla Monsoon used to say the guy doesn't get warmed up till halfway through the match. The Miz doesn't start roughly or bad, but once he gets momentum going, he's really can perform, in my opinion. Look at some of his matches with Morrison, if you want a case in point. Daniel Bryan can wrestle in his style, and I guarantee you he will look much better. Daniel Bryan will make Miz look much better in the ring. And that will help both their careers. Yes, does Daniel Bryan need to get over at the end? Yes. Get the win? More than likely, just to cement himself at that level and get a contract and everything. It doesn't mean Miz can't punk him out or do other stuff down the road, but we kind of need the forward momentum to keep going in that general direction. Now, that means what would sort of be a kind of payoff would be for Cole to get it. But I don't think he'll get it until the pay-per-view. Maybe Cole taking a shot, just getting dropped, maybe tapping out. I don't know if they'd give that to us tonight. It is a chance to give it to us tonight. Let's just kind of see how it all unravels. I still think the best way to do it would be to take the eliminated pros against the eliminated rookies, with the exception of Carlito and Tarver, and just play it out that way. Because in the ring, that would allow you to see Daniel Bryan against Christian, Daniel Bryan against William Regal, Daniel Bryan against CM Punk, which has happened before. You can look it up on YouTube, and Daniel Bryan versus The Miz. I think that would be a really good opportunity to, allow Daniel Bryan to get a win, more than likely, over Miz, with still protecting The Miz a bit, and we lead up to the pay-per-view, because I think that's where they want to take this. We'll have to see. Now, what encourages me even more is what happened on Raw when you saw Evan Bourne get over, pushed in kind of a big way. He had an early fight with Edge, and I was kind of a bit not thrilled that Edge got the spear, and I'm like, okay, that's not the greatest way to start the show because they're burying Evan Bourne again. But Cena comes out, and Cena manages not only to make Evan Bourne look good, but credible. And I don't mean that he helped him wrestle in any way. Evan Bourne's a much better wrestler than John Cena. Watch Cena's face when Evan Bourne hits the 450. That's worth its weight in gold. He gets excited. He did everything he could to get it over, and the same goes for the guy on the other side. Just keep in mind right now that seeing smaller guys, technical guys, get over is actually good for Daniel Bryan in the long run. Until tomorrow, this is Old School Ted 1. Take it easy.